going on, everybody? What's shaking, what's doing, what's happening? My name's Dave McRae. Welcome to episode 124 of McRae Live. The date today is Tuesday, November the 17th, 2020. It's 11:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. And yeah, I didn't think I was going to be able to get this show in, but I wanted to get it in. And because the channel is going to be fairly quiet over the next couple of weeks, so I am trying to get as many shows as I possibly can. And yeah, especially next week. Next week will be very quiet and very far and few between. There's not going to be much. There's going to be no two dudes until December whatever that Monday is after, December the 7th, I guess, or something like that. So that's 3 weeks from now. There's not going to be any McRae Lives. Well, there definitely won't be a McRae Live this Friday. I can tell you that. And unlikely Thursday. And there will not be any McRae Lives next week, obviously, because I'm shooting the movie. So it's crazy, but it's a good thing. I mean, this is a good thing, right? This is a good thing. I mean, this is what we want. This is what we worked so hard for. And yes, I say we. I include you guys in that as well. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, obviously, the reality of this wouldn't be possible. So we've worked very hard. You've donated your hard-earned money towards the production budget of It's Me, Billy, and we are making this a reality. And we are now just, what is it, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, almost 6 days. 6 days away. 5 days away. 3 days away from when we load up the trucks. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. All morning, I was dealing with some emails. I was reading the correspondence, of course, that Bruce was having with some people at White's and our first AC. AC is assistant camera, our first AC. Jacqueline DeBacco. Jacqueline, if you're watching, can't wait to work with you. She's probably not watching. She's probably too busy. But nonetheless, very, very excited to work with everybody. Dylan as well, our second AC. Greg, of course, our DP. Nikita, our gaffer. Nas, our key grip. Stuart, Liam and Luke and, the cast. I mean, everybody, we are excited to do this, and it's a labor of love. It is. We're working very hard to make something special. As I've been saying a fair bit, it's going to be a tight shoot. We have 6 days to shoot 23 pages, which may sound easy, but it's not. I mean, it's easy if you just have your phone, but it's not easy when you have a lot of setup and a lot of moving parts, let's just say. But I think it's doable. Of course, it's going to have to be doable. Let's just put it that way. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least. Yes, I see that Kevin Dugan, or whatever his name is, keeps getting his messages removed. Kevin, don't be a fucking dick. Let's see here. Kevin, I just read his deleted comment. Thank you, by the way, Darren, for doing that. I appreciate it. Kevin's obviously a troll, or he has the IQ of a walnut. One of the two, because his ignorance in his last comment there is not surprising to somebody who doesn't understand how the film industry works. So I just, before you continue to embarrass yourself further, I recommend that you go and do your due diligence. However, if you are a troll, then you were doing what you're supposed to be doing as a troll. But with the IQ of a walnut. Nonetheless, Darren, thank you very much, Darren. My man, Darren, doing what he does. If he makes his way back in another account, of course, we'll just have to continue to fight him off today. That's what these little trolls are. It's actually, it's more than likely the same individual. It tends to be the same individual because you can see the same syntax and the same way that they construct sentences. So you get to understand that, oh, this sounds like it's the same person, just with 374 accounts. A little bit of advice to trolls: if you're going to use several different accounts and you're trying to create the illusion that you're not the same person, pay close attention to your syntax and the way that you construct sentences. Don't use the same lingo all the time. Don't say the same things all the time, because then it becomes very, look at this, I'm giving advice to trolls. But aren't I a nice guy giving advice to trolls? But listen, man, I mean, if you're going to do it right. Do it right. You're failing miserably. Where's my fucking, where is it here? Dun, 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 dun. It's got to be around here somewhere. You know what I'm looking for. Here we go. Sorry. Frank Riker, Kevin proves the American education system works. Yeah, well, you know, Darren did it. Darren, my man Darren, gone. By the way, The Fly, Frank Riker, Darren Sands, your new podcast. Is it this week that you're doing The Fly? That's the Slaughtered Lamb, folks. My great moderators, of course, Darren Sands and Frank Riker, have their own show, their own podcast. It's fairly new, but it's been firing right out of the gate. They talk about movies that you don't hear too many people talking about. And The Slaughtered Lamb is the name of the podcast. You can download it and listen to it wherever podcasts are. And they have a Facebook page as well, I believe. The Slaughtered Lamb. I love that title. So yes, indeed. So this week, of course, it's The Fly. Jeff Goldblum. Yes. No, that's a good one. That's a good one. The Fly. I haven't seen The Fly in a long time. I'd love to see The Fly again. I remember it being creepy, the transformation. So I just wanted to kind of give everybody, I know I've been talking about this, but this may be the last show that I do for a couple of weeks in this kind of a setting. I mean, obviously you'll get a few little things that I upload to my social media in terms of behind the scenes of It's Me, Billy. There won't be, it's not going to be every 5 seconds and every moment, because A, I'll be too busy, and B, I want to save 99% of that for the behind the scenes featurette for the Blu-ray. I don't want to, give everything away, but certainly the carrot will be dangled, throughout the week. But so I just wanted to let everybody know, for those who are watching live, for those who may be watching after the fact, in case you've been sleeping under a rock in terms of me and It's Me, Billy. The Black Christmas fan film goes to production, goes to camera this Monday. We do leave for the location on Sunday morning, but we begin shooting all next week. It's a 6-day shoot. First 2 days are day shoots. Then the last 4 days are overnight shoots. So there's about a 24-hour turnaround between Tuesday and Wednesday. And we're all excited. We are prepared. We are shooting this as professionally as we possibly can. And I say that because I want people to understand the love and the hard work that we are putting into this, not just for us, but for you guys as well, to deliver a Black Christmas, follow-up that hopefully everybody can be proud of. And listen, it's the world of movies. There are going to be people that are not going to like it because they just didn't like it. It didn't work for them. There will be people that will say they don't like it just to be dicks and trolls and probably, Kevin. And then there are people that are going to love it, right? I mean, that's what it's usually like with every film. And, you always hope that more people like it than not. And, but we are doing this. The only difference between this and any other film would just be that this is a fan film. We are approaching this in the same ways we would if we were shooting an original piece. We're going through the same process, hiring the same people, shooting on the same cameras with the same gear. So in this case, it's very much like in the sense of like a Dylan's New Nightmare or A Never Hike in the Snow or whatever. I mean, it's fan film by category, but please understand that we are working very hard to deliver something truly special. We're shooting on the highest of the highest that you can shoot on. I mean, you can't get any higher than the Airy with Master Prime lenses. So just understand that our camera package alone, its value is like probably $500,000. That's not how much we're spending on it. That's the replacement value. If something was to happen and it all exploded or something, that's how much it would cost to replace. So, I mean, we are doing what we can to deliver something really special because, you know, the bar has been set by Vince and others. And you know, we want to come in and put our mark and do it for, you know, Black Christmas and do something that is fun for the fans. It is a short film. It'll probably be 25, 30 minutes maybe. So it's not a feature-length film. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I'm nervous. I will say that. I'm not nervous about the actual process. I'm nervous about things that any director or producer would be nervous about. And Bruce and I have had these conversations. We'll be having it again tomorrow because I'm meeting with Bruce again tomorrow night. You know, just time, keeping things on time, moving at a steady pace, you know, keeping the cast and crew moving at a steady pace because we have a lot to shoot in a short amount of time. You know, just things like that. The performances from the actors is the least of my worries. They are extraordinarily talented. I can't wait for you guys to see them. Yeah, I mean, it's just little things like that, you know, that any producer would worry about. Okay, we're going to have enough time. Are we going to go over budget? Like, we can't go over budget because we don't have the time to do that. We have to, we got to shoot all this in 6 days. But we meet at the Rendezvous Point this Sunday, November 22nd, excuse me. We meet at 7 a.m., bright and early, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, as they say. We are meeting, I'm not going to tell you where we're meeting because I don't want anybody who lives in the area to go over there. But we're meeting at a rendezvous point, and we are traveling from there to the location, which is 4.5 hours away. And then that day is largely, you know, setting up, settling in, checking into the hotels for those, or the hotel for those who will be staying in the motel, I should say. It's a motel. You know, taking the cast and crew on a site tour of the location, meeting the owner. You know, there'll be Perks will be signed that day as well. Oh, we have DeFontaine. DeFontaine was hidden. Thank you, Frank. Thank you. Oh, he's just going to keep coming back because, you know, it's obviously the same guy. It's Devontae Huntley. And I believe Sunday afternoon is also, for those of you that ordered signed posters, the cast and crew will be signing posters this coming Sunday. We're hauling all the posters up there to be signed. For those of you that were fortunate enough to get a replica phone, a signed replica phone, they will be signed on Sunday as well. There's a lot to do Sunday, actually. But that's the sort of Sunday. And then, you know, we'll probably order pizza that night and hang out and just kind of get acquainted and talk about the next day. And then the next morning we'll probably all be up. Breakfast is 6, so we'll probably all be up around 5:30 in the morning, something like that. And, you know, and then call time is 7 a.m. So, and then things, away we go. And we're rocking. We're bringing Billy back. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, a lot of thoughts, a lot of things going on, you know. It's that, again, I don't know if nervous is the right word. Like it's nervousness, but it's more anxiousness. It's like, you know, the last year and a half in terms of my filmmaking side of my life has been all sort of moving to this moment. And so it's here. Like, guys, it's finally here. I mean, all this talking about it, all this, you know, discussing it and the campaign and the Indiegogo teaser and the Billy-a-thons and the me yabbering about it and all that. It's finally here. You know, in 6 days, we go to camera next Monday. It's crazy. It's hard to believe. What was I going to say? Oh, I guess I could show you this too. For those of you that order stuff or that did get perks, of course, these are kind of cool. You'll get one of these. It depends on what you like. It'll be in specific things that people order, but this is kind of cool. You'll get one of those there. It's me, Billy, and on the back it just says, "Thank you, Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So that's kind of cool. I think you'll like that. There'll be other little things in there too, little things like that, which is kind of fun. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Cobra says, you guys going to use the original house? No, we're not. Unfortunately, the original house is in Toronto because the movie was shot in Toronto. For those of you that don't know, even though Black Christmas is a Canadian movie and has a lot of Canadian actors in it, it's not supposed to take place in Toronto. It actually is supposed to take place somewhere in the U.S. Now, I know there are towns in the U.S. named Bedford. There are a couple of towns up here in Canada named Bedford too. But they didn't, to my knowledge, they didn't specifically indicate, Bedford, Maine, Bedford. I know there isn't a Bedford, Maine. There's a Bedford, Pennsylvania. Bedford, Pennsylvania, Bedford, New York, Bedford, Minnesota. I don't know, anywhere of the northern states that would get snow, right? They just said Bedford. So we just assume, well, it's probably one of those states. It actually is supposed to take place in the U.S., funny enough. But anyway, yeah, the house is in Toronto, and it was never a sorority house. It was always a privately owned residence. It's a beautiful home. It sits on a private street right now in a very affluent area of Toronto. If you've been to Toronto, if you know Toronto, it's near Casa Loma. So that's like, very nice area. We did approach the owners because there were things in the film that initially, had potentially the house in it. But they weren't interested. They weren't even interested to talk to us. It's the kind of street that you have to speak to them over the intercom. You know what I mean? It's that kind of, affluent neighborhood. So they came over the intercom and we sort of explained who we were very politely, very professionally, very nicely, and just was wondering if we could have the opportunity to speak to them. And they, over the intercom, very bluntly just said, no, we're not interested. And we were like, oh, okay. And he's like, thanks, bye. I mean, who knows if he was having a bad day, if that's just who he is, if they get that kind of a buzz, several times a week. I mean, who knows? I mean, I imagine they get people on a fairly regular basis walking up and down the street taking photos of the house, right? So who knows? I mean, it's unfortunate that we didn't have a chance to actually speak to them in person, because then maybe we would have been able to win them over. But no, unfortunately, the original Black Christmas house will not appear in the movie. But its presence, let's just say, will loom large in a variety of different ways. And but that's why we wanted to find a house that was in the spirit of the original Black Christmas house. Now, the house in It's Me, Billy is not supposed to be the Black Christmas house. So it's not like we found a house that looked like it and now we're trying to pass it off as the Black Christmas house. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. And this isn't a spoiler because it's in the synopsis, right? Sam and her two best friends are spending Christmas Eve, or one last Christmas Eve, at her grandmother's old country mansion. Okay, that's actually in the synopsis of the film. That's been out since like February. So it is, and who is Sam's grandmother? Jess Bradford. So, yeah. And the house is gorgeous. It's stunning. I was so, when I found it, I knew instantly we've got to do everything we can to secure this. But of course that also costs money. So, but yeah, no, the original Black Christmas house will not be in the movie. And thank you, Darren. Thank you to my moderators for doing that. Appreciate it. Let me see. Dan Parsons says, hey, Dave, glad things are moving quickly and really excited to see this when it's finished. Does the house you have rented bear a strong resemblance to the original? Keep up the great work, Dan. It's funny. I was just talking about this. I think, yes, I think if, I don't know how long, or if you follow me on social media, Dan, but there are photos of the house, on social media. We revealed what the house looks like, I think on our first Billy-a-thon back in July. We revealed it. It's a mansion that was built in the 1870s. It's got about, I think, 10 or 12 bedrooms. It's it's beautiful. It's old, but it's beautiful, and it has a lot of character, and that's definitely what we wanted. We wanted something that looked like it was lived in, you know? I mean, there are a lot of modern mansions that are beautiful too, but they don't necessarily have the character that a lot of the older homes do. So this, like I said, it was built in the 19th century. So, I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And 30 years before the turn of the century, like 1870. I mean, it's a long time ago. So, yeah, no, it's beautiful indeed. David Cameron says, Dave, will there be an MPA rating or viewer discretion advised warning for It's Me, Billy? Well, no. There won't be an MPA rating because it's not an official film that we can get rated by the Motion Picture Association. I mean, you know, you can always have fun with it and be a little cheeky and say, you know, rated R, or whatever, but it's not officially rated by anything. Viewer discretion? I don't think so. I mean, it's not that kind of a movie. You know, I think it's important for people to understand again that, you know, yes, although Black Christmas does have the title of one of the earliest slasher movies, it's very tame in comparison to what slashers became. Black Christmas was never about gore, or it was never, you know, Friday the 13th or Terrifier, or, you know, I mean, it was never anything like that. It was very much and that's the thing too, is I think people have to understand, and I will finish my thought here in a sec, but I think people have to understand too, I think there's and I've been meaning to do a show on this, and maybe I'll do it when I get back. The term slasher, you know, I think people, because it's got the slash, right? Slasher, you know, and that is sort of what it means, but there's different degree, like there's different, like really at the end of the day, a slasher movie was what it meant was essentially that and this is a very loose thing, but it's a killer stalking teenagers, you know, and there's usually like a girl that, but I mean, whether it's a bloody movie or not, you know, there's bloody slashers, there's gory slashers, and there's not so gory slashers, and hardly anything at all kind of slashers, right? But I think we just have that idea that for a slasher, it must be like slash and blood and all that kind of stuff. And that's not necessarily the case. That's more splatter movies. That's more splatter, like a slasher splatter. Anyway, I know the original is considered a slasher for all intents and purposes, but it's more, I mean, when you watch the original movie, it's more of a psychological, you know, thriller, I guess, at the end of the day. It's got some blood at the end there when Jess opens the door and sees her dead friends on the bed. And of course, you see a little bit of blood on Margot Kidder's hand as she's being killed. But there's nothing that's, you know, it's not Friday the 13th, right? There was more gore in the beginning of Never Hike in the Snow than there ever was in all of Black Christmas, the original from 1974. So we're paying homage to that. So our movie is not I mean, I can tell you this, and it's not a spoiler. I mean, this should be evident just based on what we're trying to do. It's not a bloodbath of a movie. There's not like blood flying everywhere and you know, and I mean, it's not that kind of movie. It would be strange for us to make it that kind of movie. We want to really pay homage to the original. So mood and atmosphere, you know, we want you to feel creeped out. You know, we want you to just kind of feel, you know, I mean, as much as you can in a 25-minute movie, you know, we want you to feel the essence of the original film again. And that's our goal. You know, make it more psychological than literal, I guess, in terms of seeing blood and guts and gore and all that. So it's important that people understand that, because if anybody walks away saying, "Oh, there wasn't enough blood, no, there wasn't enough deaths," it's like, well, but it's not that kind of movie. If you want that, go watch Friday the 13th. So yeah. So in terms of a rating, I don't think it's necessary to have a rating. You know, well, we can't. Officially, we can't. But a viewer discretion is advised. I don't think so. I don't think it's for what I don't know. You know, I mean, maybe we'll throw it up there as just for fun, just to kind of looks cool. But no, at the end of the day, I don't think so. Frank's right. Psycho, the original slasher, not much blood. No, it's true. It was a different era though, right? Like we sort of insidiously progressed to a much more violent, you know, so what Slasher is to people has changed as well, right? But yeah, I don't know. Everyday Horror says, do you think YouTuber who do Indiegogo campaigns owe the supporters receipts of the purchases? That's a good question. The answer to that would be no. Well, I don't know, but I think receipts for the purchases. Well, the receipt is the receipt. When you make a when you make a donation to Indiegogo, you get an email back thanking you for your donation and what you've donated to the campaign. It's not like you just, whether you donate or pick up a perk, you will get an email. At least you should get an email. And if you haven't got an email, then you need to reach out to the campaign owner saying, where's my email? You receive an email saying, thank you for your contribution, your donation, whatever the case is. And that can act as a receipt because it's actual physical evidence that you've made the contribution or the donation. But I think it's important to remember that Indiegogo campaigns are not stores. You are donating money because you're supposed to believe in a project. If you don't believe in the project or you can't afford to do it, don't do it. Don't do it, because then you have no one to blame but yourself at the end of the day. Not if you don't get something in return. I just mean that if you're strapped for cash and you donate and you're like, God damn, I wish I had that money. Well, you have no one to blame but yourself, right? So it's really important that you donate to causes you truly believe in, and you are donating to a cause, and in return for your donation, you get this, right? And the more you donate, the more you get. But it isn't always of equal value, right? It's not like a store where you go in and you say, well, I want this shirt, I'm going to buy this and get the equal value of the shirt. It's supposed to be of better value, more equal value than, say, what one of the lower perks would be. But it's not like you have to match all the way up, right? It's a for all intents and purposes, it's like what's the word? Damn, I forget what the word is now. It's on the tip of my tongue. It'll probably come to me. But I think it's important for donors to remember that you are donating to a cause or a campaign or a project or a device or whatever it is. You believe in that. And this is what they say you're going to get for your donation. And as long as you get that for your donation, but I also think it's important to remember that these things take time too. I've learned a lot through this process and talking with Vince, who of course has done several of them very successfully, talking to Cecil, his campaign was successful, our campaign was successful. And I've learned a lot by talking to them and understanding. It's something you have to remember too, that, depending on how much you raise, there's a certain percentage that will also go towards the perks, right? Because you have to create all the posters. You got to print all the t-shirts. You got to package them all up. You got to ship them all over the world. I mean, we're shipping all over the world from the US, Canada, Europe to Singapore. I mean, you got to, and shipping ain't cheap, right? So there's a lot I've learned about this. And I think it's important for donors to be patient. I think it's important for donors to understand that there is a process. I think it's important for donors to understand that when you donate, these things are the items that you are expecting to receive in return for your generous donation are not necessarily ready to be shipped to you. They still have to be created. They still have to be made, right? They still have to be manufactured and shipped to, us. And then we have to package them and ship them off to you, because we want to get them, make sure, they're okay, there isn't anything wrong with it, and that kind of thing. So, in terms of a receipt, I think it's a good question, but I don't know what Indiegogo's policies are on that, but your email should be able to act as a receipt, because it should be able to tell you how much you've donated, and proof that you have actually donated. So you should get an email for your donation. But there are people out there. The vast majority of people understand this. They understand that there is a process involved, but there are a lot of people that are ignorant and that don't understand it and expect that, once the campaign ends, where's my fucking, t-shirt? Where's my Blu-ray? Where's my this? It's like, it's not ready yet. We have to make the movie, then we have to make the Blu-ray, then we can ship it to you. And that could take a year. That could take 8 months, 9 months, right? It all depends. So patience is really, really important. And I'm always of the mindset that professionalism is also about communication. And I'm a communicator. And I've encouraged everybody, if you're concerned about something, campaign, wondering where something is, whatever the case is, do not hesitate to reach out to me via the campaign. That's the best way to do it, right? So on Indiegogo, if you've donated, reach out there. Hey, what's going on? What's doing this? I like to I always keep people informed on this channel. I keep I like the transparency of that, right? So that's important too. But yeah, anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here, but it's just because I've learned so much about this process and I find it so interesting. And, there are people, I've received messages from people that think that this is just ridiculous, but think that I've stolen the money and that there's not going to be a movie. And of course, these people must have the IQ of a donut, really, at the end of the day. Because they just don't understand the process. There's a lot of ignorant people that just don't understand how movies are made and actually don't understand the cost of making a movie. They just don't understand it. I can tell you right now, feeding our cast and crew for a week is going to cost like $5,000. $5,000. That's just food for the week. 3 meals, cast and crew. Think about that. That doesn't include, pay to the cast, pay to the crew, production insurance, motels, location, equipment, camera, lighting and grip, COVID protocols, props. It's insane. It's insane. So there's a lot of people that don't understand the process, and I think if they knew how it worked behind the scenes, they'd go, oh wow, oh okay. And it's largely because, you donate money and then things get quiet, right? When a movie goes into pre-production, things get a little quiet. And I even said that at the end of August. I said, okay, so over the next couple of months, things are going to be a little quiet when it comes to It's Me, Billy. But that's because we're working hard behind the scenes, right? So, but anyway, yeah, your initial question, I went off on a tangent. What else is new? I don't know if they offer official receipts. It's none that I'm aware of, but your email that you received for your donation should work as proof of payment, and it should show how much you donated. So that should suffice as far as I'm concerned. So pay attention to that. And if you didn't get that email, then by all means, reach out to the campaign that you donated to and ask for sure. But great question though. Great question. Christina Anthony says, so is this going to be released on YouTube by Christmas? No, it will not be released by Christmas. It's just not enough time for post-production. That's only, we'd finish shooting at the end of November. So, cause it's a 6-day shoot, we won't have the movie ready for Christmas. However, if all goes well and we can move right into post-production that week, we should have a teaser by Christmas. By Christmas, you should have a teaser. That is my goal, is to have a teaser, something for Christmas. But the movie won't be till next year. Now, I'm not suggesting we're going to wait till next Christmas to release it. I don't think we have to do that. I think we can have a Christmas in July kind of thing. We could have a spring release. I know there's always that psychological thing, Friday the 13th movies have to be released on Friday the 13th, or, Halloween movies have to be released at Halloween, Christmas movies. And I get that. If you're a big, gigantic, and even if you're not, I understand it. There's a psychological romanticism around it. There's a nice kind of feel around it. I get it. Totally understand. But I think we could release It's Me, Billy in, May or something like that, and it will do fine. I don't think it's going to lose money at the box office, quote unquote. So I think it'll be fine. So yeah, but no, the movie this Christmas, no, just not enough time for post-production. Let me see here. Cobra says, movies of yours you are most proud of. I would say the one movie I'm most proud of is probably the little independent movie I did almost 10 years ago now called The Intruder. If you guys haven't seen The Intruder, it's on my channel. I would say that's probably the most, because I think it's pretty good. It's based on the first 20 minutes of the original When a Stranger Calls. We shot that in a weekend, and I still think, you know, it looks all right for today. I mean, considering it's 10 years old, I think it looks pretty good. It's on my channel. Just type in Dave McRae, The Intruder, and it should pop up. There's a trailer there too, but yeah, it should pop up. It should pop up. I think it's, I think it looks all right. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but it's fun. Yeah, Johnny T says, BS McRae, we know you're leaving for a week in Hawaii. All right. You're right. On November 23rd, you'll actually see me sunbathing on the beach. You're right. Cobra follows up, says, do you edit yourself or have someone edit for you? Well, myself and Bruce will be editing the film. And it saves money, obviously, because if you have to hire an editor or you know, post-production supervisor, or, you know, I mean, obviously that costs money. So yes, we will be editing the film ourselves. We're utilizing all of our capabilities. I mean, obviously being a voice actor and being somebody who works with sound and mixing and mastering audio every day, and I've been doing it for 20 years. Obviously it makes sense. You don't have to pay me X. And by the way, Bruce and I are not making a dime off of this, just so people know that. Bruce and I, we're not receiving payment for this at all. We've taken everything that was donated through the campaign and we're putting it towards the production. We're not paying ourselves, just so people know that. It's 100% true. We're not paying ourselves. We're paying others because we need them to help make this movie what it is, but we're not paying ourselves. We're not making a dime off of it. So I'm going to be handling the sound design and the mixing and the mastering of that, because this is what I do. And Bruce and I will also be tackling the editing as well, the picture lock and the assembly edit and color grading and color correction. And our DP, Greg Bennett, will also be sitting in on the color grading as well. Naturally, of course, being a professional DP, he, and this is the first time that we're working with him. So he wants to sit in and have a say in the color grade and all that. And naturally, I get it. I understand it. It's his work. He's a professional. And the great thing about Greg, like, as I've said, Greg is a 2-time CSC nominee. That's the Canadian Society of Cinematographers. And he's been doing this for years. And it's so awesome to be working with somebody like Greg with this level of experience. And it's so cool to see Greg taking this project, even though it's a fan film, taking this project as seriously as he would any other project that wasn't a fan film that may wind up on television, Netflix, or in the theater. He's taking it this seriously. And that's really cool to see. You know, he's not like, yeah, I'll shoot it for you. Great, there it is. Okay, you know, see you guys. No, it's his work. He wants to make sure that his work is being honored. And yeah, absolutely, right? You know, that's what you got to do. So it's really, really, really cool. Really cool. Anna M. Pop sends in a 549 pounds super pound. Thank you very much, Anna. Imagine getting a prank call from Dave pretending he's Billy on Christmas Eve, including the swears and all. That would be wild, Anna. That would be wild. I have a feeling there'd be a lot of people that would want it. I'd probably be very, very, very busy. Very busy. Let me see. Cobra says, if there's any money left over, what will you do with it? Well, if there's any money left over, it will be very, very minimal, because obviously when you raise a production budget, at least you should do this. And it doesn't mean that you're going to raise a little more than you need or a little, less than you need. But the 60,000 we were asking for wasn't an arbitrary number. So it was based on how much, the location's going to cost for the week. How much is it going to cost to feed this many people for the week? How much is it going to cost to rent these cameras? How much is it going to cost to rent this lighting? And obviously you don't know for sure down to the penny until you start getting the gaffer and the key grip together and you go through the script and you start getting, obviously it might be a little bit more, a little bit less, but it's not like, I can tell you right now, it's not like we asked for 60,000, but we can really shoot it for 10 grand. It's not like that. Not like that at all. And right now, we're right on the money. We're right on the money. If there's any variance, it might be a few bucks either way. So but hypothetically, if we were to, let's say, come out on top and we have like $2,000, it's going towards the perks. It's going towards the perks because the perks, like, you don't understand, it costs a lot of money to ship all over the world. So it's going towards the perks. And the shipping that was collected during the Indiegogo campaign, we collected, as I'm sure you know, if you donated, we collected a little bit for shipping, and we had to do that. But I can tell you that even some of the shipping we collected wasn't nearly as much as it's going to cost to ship. Nope. I mean, especially when you're shipping to China or to Singapore or to New Zealand or something like that, and it can get crazy. So yeah, if there is anything left over, going towards the perks for sure. And that's the smart thing to do, 100%. Evil Alex says, Dave, would you film It's Me, Billy in the Myers house of Halloween 5, just judging by the look of the house and if it was near you? That's a good, I don't know. I may want to do something different. I don't know if I'd want to shoot It's Me, Billy in there, but maybe. It's a cool looking house. That's the thing too. Like, the Myers house from Halloween 5 is a really cool looking house. It's a fucking amazing, it's an amazing look. I mean, let's be honest here. The Myers house in Halloween 5 is a fucking amazing looking house, but it's not the Myers house. And because of that, it's dog shit in relation to the continuity. It's like, what the fuck is this? It's like the house we're shooting at is an amazing looking house. But if it wound up in the Elm Street, films trying to be passed off as the Elm Street house, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? This isn't the fucking Elm Street house. This is dog shit. You know what I mean? So the house in of itself is not a bad house. It's amazing. It's an amazing looking house. But yeah, not for Myers. Maybe, man. That's a good question. I kind of like that. Let me see here. Flinner says, I want receipts right now, David. I'm unsubscribing. Christina Anthony says, there's a movie I'd like to see, another sequel to When a Stranger Calls. There was that 1993 TV sequel. Yes, that's called When a Stranger Calls Back. That actually is not bad. I've seen that movie. Again, not in quite a few years, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty good. Gary Rangel says, Dave, since I got an email from Indiegogo a month ago, since I ordered a Blu-ray from Vincent DeSanti, would I need to save the receipt in my inbox? Yes. I mean, don't delete it. I would just kind of, maybe if you have a little file, I don't know if you use Gmail or not, but if you do, I would go to the left-hand column, create, a folder or something, call it Indiegogo emails, Indiegogo receipts or something, and just stick the email in there so you have it. That's what I would do. Yeah, that's what I would do for sure. I mean, I have an It's Me Billy folder, and I can tell you in my It's Me Billy folder, which is where I keep all the emails from the cast and crew and myself, I think there's like 340 emails in there. It's insane. Myers, 1978. Oh, talking to Christina. Johnny Melancholy says, we live in hard times indeed. And yes, I'm worried about my mom's health and keeping a roof over my head. But I'm glad I was able to invest in It's Me, Billy. Well, Johnny, we really appreciate it, man. We really, really do. And I mean, again, I know it's hard for people when they donate. And I understand this. I totally do. When you donate to something, they take your money, right? And then things get quiet, and you're like, well, what's going on? What's happening? Like, where is everything, right? And that's why I believe that total transparency is vital. And that's why I want to use this platform with me talking to you to answer your questions or your concerns and to give you insight into the process and of how it all works. And, we haven't forgotten about you. We just haven't made the movie yet, so we have to make that movie. And then once that movie is made, it goes into post-production and then, and yada, 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 and all through the processes. And then of course it will eventually wind up on a Blu-ray, and then we'll get the Blu-rays, and then, and then eventually it'll wind up to you. But because we're not a major distributor and we don't have thousands of people doing this and hundreds of millions of dollars, it's me. I mean, I'm creating the Blu-ray covers. I'm creating the menus and shit. And when I say I mean like we are, right? You know what I mean? And then we have to send it off to a company that makes the Blu-rays. Like it's us. It's us. It's not like we have this big corporation that's, got all these people. So sometimes I can take a little bit longer. And I know with Vince, I mean, he's working his ass off trying to get that all out there. And he's got so many versions, like cut 1, cut 2, the ghost cut, this cut. We're not going to have that. We're not going to, it's just too much. I mean, maybe in the future, maybe we'll release something like that. But to start, we'll just do the Blu-ray as is. We'll start there. And then maybe if there's any leftover footage which I don't think there will be because it's going to be such a tight shoot, maybe then we'll add extra something or something. I don't know. But no, I mean, I appreciate the questions because I want you guys to feel comfortable, but just understand that it's part of the process. Once a movie is greenlit, which is what the Indiegogo campaign did, the success of the Indiegogo campaign said, yes, it's official, you're greenlit. So now the movie moves right into into pre-production. So things get quiet because we're all working behind the scenes, right? And if you were to open that door, you'd hear all this noise and phones ringing and emails sending and people making shit. And it's a big thing, right? But I can understand people kind of going, what's going on with that movie? Like, am I going to get my 100%? Absolutely. Absolutely. Blue Raven Film says, Dave, have you seen Freaky? If so, what are your thoughts on it? I have not. No, it just came out last week. So no, I haven't seen it. And the theaters here in the Toronto area are all closed. So I haven't seen it yet. I have not seen it yet. Let me see here. What do we got going on? Frank Riker says, anyone remember Kingdom of the Spiders? No, I don't remember that, Frank. I don't even think I've heard of that movie. Edwin Sordo says, Dave, is there any chance that something can go wrong on your first day of shooting, even if you and the team were really prepared? Oh, of course. Yes. 100%. 100%. Yep. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. There's always that risk. You can never get rid of risk. You can just mitigate it. But we've done everything we can. Myself and Bruce have done everything we can to be as prepared as we possibly can. And then we just have to let go, and we have to just walk in there and do our job and see what happens. You know what I mean? It's because you don't want to over prepare either, because if you over prepare, you start to psych yourself out. And you don't want to do that. Then you start what was once confidence becomes doubt. And because you're thinking about it too much and you're psyching yourself out. And I've had a little bit of moments of that where I'm like, no, it's good. It's fine. Because we're neck deep into it. So it's that balance. It's that walking that balance. But yeah, I mean, there could be something that could go wrong. But it would depend on, would it derail the production? Well, that would depend on what it is. But hopefully it would be nothing major. And with our crew, we could problem solve through it in a timely manner. Yeah. It's going to be crazy. King Kennedy says, hey, Dave, will we get another chance to buy merch or a Blu-ray before or after the film is released? I can't guarantee it, but I do know that Bruce and I have casually talked about possibly a post-production campaign. So nothing major, more along the lines of what Vince did, where he launched the trailer for Never Hike in the Snow. And then immediately after that, he launched a 2-week campaign, kind of like, hey, anybody wants to get in on, the Blu-rays or things like that. And that was incredibly successful. He's got a larger reach than I do in terms of the established history. It's not like he's on his channel doing a show, but certainly he's got a big reach and he's established his footprint. So he raised, I think, like $30,000 in 2 weeks or something like that, which is amazing. Now, Indiegogo takes 5% of that, but he did very well. And so we've thought about that. We thought maybe doing that we don't really want to do it at Christmas because it's Christmas. And if we're all going into another lockdown, that's crazy, right? You know what I mean? And it's entirely possible. And people are spending money at Christmas, and money is already tight for a lot of people. So it may not happen at the teaser trailer mark, which would be Christmas. Maybe we'll do something like that when we launch the official trailer for the movie, which would be next year. Then, of course, we launch like a 2-week campaign where people can kind of, last minute things like, oh, now it's your chance to get, the Blu-ray or something like that. We may do that, and of course that extra that we raise will obviously go to distributing those Blu-rays and shirts that people are buying, and any leftovers that are needed. Right now, our focus has just been on the movie. It's been really focused on the movie. And then once the movie's done and we move into post-production, we can breathe, and then we can start tackling all this. It's a good question, though. It's a good question. Holly Klein. Hello, Holly. Says, so excited for you and the crew, Dave. Thank you, Holly. We're very excited, too. We're very, very excited, too. I just have 2 emails just came in here. What do we got? Okay. Nope, nothing. Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay, let me see. Where am I? Where are you? Where are you guys? What do we got? 123 people watching. In case you're just joining us, it just was talking about It's Me Billy, wearing some It's Me Billy swag. This is the shirt, by the way, that for those of you that order t-shirts, this is what your t-shirt will look like. Yeah, we're just talking. It's me, Billy, answering your questions in regards to the production and whatnot. We go to camera next Monday, November 23rd. We all meet and travel there on the 22nd. So yeah, we're just talking about that. This may be the last McRae Live on my channel for a couple of weeks. It's possible I may get one in on Thursday, but maybe not. So I just want people to know that. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Oh, we got Mark Williams. Mark, if you're still watching, my apologies, buddy. I see your super chat now. Mark Williams says, will you and Bruce be directing side by side or handing off different jobs? Ooh, interested in your directing process. Have a great shoot, my man. Cheers. Thank you very much, Mark. Well, I don't want to give anything away, but I will say that there is a moment, I can just say it's the first thing, actually. The very first thing we'll be doing is actually splitting up. And Bruce will be going off over here to direct something going on over there. And I will be going off over here to direct something going on over there. That's actually, I think, the first thing that we're shooting. That will be the only time that happens. For the rest of the shoot, Bruce and I will essentially be side by side, directing the scenes. There'll be a lot of behind the scenes footage, so you'll get to see our process. We'll be talking to each other, making sure we're both on the same page, communicating with each other. I'll offer my thoughts, he'll offer his. Sometimes he'll offer his thoughts, and I won't need to say anything because I agree, and there's no sense in repeating it. Sometimes I'll say something, and he might be like, yep. Don't need to say anything. That's exactly, it's a balancing act. We've certainly learned a lot about each other as well. I mean, Bruce and I go back 30 years almost. And, we used to make movies in high school. And of course, you're a kid then. But it's been a learning experience, I know, for both of us. Bruce and I, we have our own ways of communicating certain things. And sometimes we say the same thing, but in our own ways. And then sometimes we're saying 2 different things. So it's a learning experience. And we've definitely learned a lot about each other and about each other's processes and about how we communicate those ideas to each other and to other people. And we just have to make sure that we're on the same page as much as possible. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, this is going to be great. He's my best friend of nearly 30 years. I mean, this should be, we have to be on point and set a pace, but it also should be fun. It also should be fun as well. So, to answer your question, yes, there will be something in the script that we're doing that I will be sort of taking off. For that, I guess well, no, that would give it away. Yeah, let's just say there is something that will be happening in that regard. But for the 99% of the movie, we'll be right beside each other, either in the same room with the actors. I mean, not at the table, obviously, or on the couch or here, or, wherever, but in the same room off camera. And then sometimes we'll be in a completely different room watching on a monitor. So it all depends on what Greg needs for the space for the shot. So, yeah. Evil Alex says, how was the camera test day? Oh, it was great. There's a video on my channel. It was great. It was amazing to work with that level of equipment. I mean, obviously that's my first time working with that kind of stuff. So it was great. And Greg is a great he's a great mentor in that regard, in terms of just watching him and just him being him and his knowledge and things like that. He's cool to listen to, and his advice and ideas and stuff. He's very knowledgeable. I mean, he's, so it's very cool. Tabitha Short, hey Tabitha, it's great to see you here. Tabitha says, it's so awesome that you have someone you trust completely to go on their own. A lot of people have control issues. Yeah, it's true. It is true. That's a good point, Tabitha. But yeah, we want to have trust in each other. We want to, and 30 years of friendship will do that. I mean, do Bruce and I see eye to eye on everything? No, there's a lot of things we don't see eye to eye on. But thankfully, our friendship and the love that we share as brothers, essentially, transcends any sort of kerfuffle that may happen if you didn't have that kind of relationship. We want to listen to each other, hear each other, pay attention to what each other's saying. And at the end of the day, 95% of the time, the differences we have are generally minor. You pictured her sitting this way, I pictured her sitting that way. And then we're like, oh, okay. And then we just, maybe we, split the difference or something. I mean, it's never, and it never has been anything fundamental that would completely change the DNA of the film. And that's primarily because we've been working on it from day one. We wrote it together, we're producing it together, we're directing it together. We casted it together. So, I mean, we've been doing this together. So we've always, there's some things, because we're our own people, we're our own creative minds, we have ideas. But yeah, we're doing our best to make sure that we're on the same page, because it's better for the crew as well. I mean, the last thing the crew needs is any director drama, where the directors are fighting and now the directors have to go off for an hour and waste an hour of shooting time to figure out what, where it went wrong and to make sure we're on the same page. We don't want that. It's unprofessional. It happens. Oh, it happens. Greg's told me stories. It happens, but we're doing everything we can to avoid that. And I think we've done a pretty good job so far. I think so. Patrick Ring says, any flashbacks to Black Christmas and It's Me, Billy? That's a good question. Well, no. I can say no, because obviously we don't have the rights to use the footage from the original Black Christmas. And you might say, well, it's a fan film, you don't have the rights to. Yeah, but there's degrees, there's levels to this kind of thing, right? So using any copyrighted material would in terms of footage from the original movie, not something we want to approach. And of course, to reshoot it would just take too much time, So no, there's no flashbacks, but let's just say that I can't say. Let me just say that questions will be answered. Some questions will be answered and new ones will be presented. There you go. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see here. Dun, 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 dun. Frank, stop answering everyone's questions as if you were Dave. It's his channel. Let him answer. Are you talking? Are you talking to me? Or are you talking to somebody else? This is so funny. I love Frank. Frank's in his hot tub right now. Danita Brown says, hi, Dave. So excited for you guys. Thank you. I purchased the digital Christmas package. Awesome. And I know I have to wait until next year to receive the movie. Will that be the same for the script, copy, and poster? Well, the script, probably, Danita, because we want to make sure that we send it all at once. I think if we start sending those things in pieces, it might make it a bit messy, and we might forget somebody, and then, do you know what I mean? It just might be easier to kind of send it to everybody all at once. At least that's the idea. If anything changes, you'll know. I mean, because you'll get something. But yes, as of right now, that's sort of what we're leaning towards, just to keep things more streamlined, clean, compartmentalized, not sending bits and pieces here or there. It might get a little messy. So for the time being, I'm going to say, yeah, we want to send it all kind of at once. But you're going to get it. Oh, you're going to get it. Let me see here. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Darren. Listen, I can't thank my moderators enough for the hard work that they put in here. And I can only imagine, because I think even my mods would say, you know what, every now and then you get a couple people, or it's the same guy with, 500 accounts, comes in here, does his thing, and then he could disappear for like a month and you don't even see him. I can only imagine what it must be like for some other channels where it's just littered with trolls and things like that. But anyway, Darren, Frank, again, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it, because it's your time, and and I know it's the last thing that you want to be doing too. So I do appreciate it very much. Cobra says, have you ever met any members of the cast, such as Andrea Martin from SCTV? Well, I did meet Lynn Griffin from the original Black Christmas. Or are you talking about cast from SCTV? Lynn, I met because Lynn, I reached out to Lynn. She was a guest here on McRae Live a couple of months back. Lynn played Claire in the original Black Christmas, the one that has the bag over her head in the rocking chair. She's Canadian. And she's actually her husband, who I've met briefly online when we did the show, and in person. His name is Sean Sullivan, I think is his name. And he's currently on Umbrella Academy right now on Netflix. Well, I don't know if they're shooting now or not, but he's on that show. Now, he's American, I believe. I think he's American. But he lives here now. Anyway, so yeah, I met it. She's a sweetheart. Oh my God, Lynn, if you're watching, you're an absolute sweetheart. And she, of course, was very generous to sign those Christmas ornaments. So I had the chance to meet her in person when I picked up the Christmas ornaments. Of course, we were both masked and we couldn't, hug or shake hands or anything because of, COVID. But we talked for, I don't know, couple of minutes or whatever. She was just asking about the project, and she's excited. She's a big supporter. Lynn is a big supporter of what we're doing with It's Me, Billy, which is really cool. It's really cool to have a Black Christmas alum such as herself excited about this. So I think that's awesome. So I have met Lynn, but anybody else? I know our DP, Greg, has worked with Art Hindle. Art Hindle, of course, was Claire's boyfriend in Black Christmas, and also he was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He was Jeffrey in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He's been in a ton of things. He's Canadian. He's older now. I think he's probably in his 70s or something now. Maybe late 60s. No, maybe 70s. Art, sorry. He lives in Toronto. I haven't met him, but but our DP has worked with him. Margot Kidder, obviously, I have met. Andrea Martin, no. I wonder if Andrea Martin lives here, though, or if she's in the States. She's hilarious. Andrea Martin is fucking hilarious. And then, yeah, I mean, other than that, no, I haven't. But Lynn is really, really, really cool. I think she's so sweet. What's going on here? Let me see here. I'll get to that in a second. Robert Kitzmiller says, I always like the idea of seeing that glass unicorn in Black Christmas. If you had a little Easter egg in It's Me, Billy, that would be a nice treat in my opinion. Yeah, the glass unicorn was pretty cool. Was pretty cool. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And a great scene, too. A great scene. Frank's like, you're so mean, Darren. Darren, what's going on? Darren says, now Devontae is reporting me. Oh, I'm sure Darren is shaking in his boots right now. Darren is at home going, of course, that could be perceived as many other things, but calm the fuck down, folks. Dave's having an orgasm. The children in the audience are thinking that right now. Fuck it, I was thinking it, and I'm a child. Darren, I got e-spanked. God, Darren, you are one witty son of a bitch. I got e-spanked. I love it. I love it. Duke Fleet says, Dave, do you think you'll shoot the film chronologically? I can tell you we're not shooting the film chronologically. And the reason for that is, I mean, most of the film is shot chronologically, I think. But there's some things that are not. And the primary reason for that is because of logistics. I can't tell you the why of the logistics because it might be a little bit of a spoiler. But there's the logistics in terms of the equipment and setup time and things like that. So no, we're not shooting chronologically. Although we are shooting, I will say this, we are shooting the first scene of the movie first. So Jeremy Elliott says, not Black Christmas related. Well, then get out of here. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. But have you seen the new horror film, The Dark and the Wicked? I haven't. I have not. I watched it this morning. It's directed by the guy who made The Strangers. Very atmospheric and creepy. Oh, very cool. Is it on Netflix, Jeremy? If it's on Netflix, I will make sure to check it out. I have not seen it. I haven't even heard of it. I'll make sure to check that out. Frank, you go to the principal's office. That's right. Go to the principal's office, Darren. Super chat comes in from Reese Wilson. Hey, Reese, my man, Reese says, hey, Dave, just dropping in. Can't stay awake for this live as much now. Damn daylight savings threw things out of whack for me time-wise. No problem, man, no problem. Best of luck with the production. You're going to knock it out of the park. Thank you so much, Reese. Really appreciate your generous contribution to the channel and your thoughts, man. Really appreciate it. And I hope you're doing well, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Let me see here. Dalton B says, I'm excited to get the Blu-ray next year. Best of luck to you guys. Thank you, Dalton. Thank you so much, man. It means a lot. It means a lot. You know, we're going to be thinking of you guys, you know, when we're there. And it's really cool. I know our first AC is a big Black Christmas fan, which is really cool. So she's excited to be on board, which is really awesome. And that just lucked out that way. Actually, it just so happened because she wasn't our I don't want to say first choice. It just wasn't the first person we initially thought was going to be our first AC. And then things didn't work out with that individual. And so she came on and she just happened to be a big Black Christmas fan, which is amazing. It's totally awesome. There's a few people actually, I think, on the crew that are or that like it at the very least, which is pretty cool. Let me see. Harry Hagen. Hagen, am I saying that right? Hey, I think it's Hagen, right? Harry Hagen says, Dave, what's the most expensive piece of gear besides the camera you're using? And can we expect any fisheye lens shots? Most expensive piece of gear. You know, it's too bad Bruce isn't here because he, of course, being the national manager of education and training at White's in Toronto, he has a great knowledge base in terms of all of the equipment because he's been working there for nearly 15 years. And so he knows shit that I don't even know. And I've learned a lot through him and watching his process and listening to him, which has been great. That's how you grow, right? That's how you know. So there's a lot of things now I can talk about because I've learned from him. I don't know. I mean, it may be the cameras, but I'm trying to think of what we have because I don't want to give anything away. Because sometimes when you talk about equipment, it doesn't give anything away directly, but it gets your wheels turning. You know what I mean? Just trying to think of there's so much. I mean, there's so many lights and I don't know. I will just say that. I sincerely don't know. But I do know that, I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. I mean, say that, that's the replacement value, right? You know what I mean? So it's expensive stuff, but I don't know what items specifically, but he would probably know. But he's not here. But great question though, man. Thanks very much. I appreciate that. Die Hard Drummer says, hey Dave, have you seen P2? Great psychological thriller. I have. Yes, that's the underground parking one, right? I have seen that. Not in a long time, but I have seen that. I think that came out, maybe about 15 years or so ago? 2005, 6? 6. I'm going to say 6. No, I'm going to say 5. 6. I'm going to say 6. Hey, Google, what year did the movie P2 come out?
The release date of P2 was November 9th, 2007.
Oh, I was off. 2007. Yes, I do. I remember it. And I remember renting it from the video store. And I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was, I haven't seen it so that's 13 years. I haven't seen it in a while, but I liked it. Frank Riker says, for the sexy MFers in the chat and Darren's red spanked bottom. Oh, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. That's so awesome. I love it. I can hear Frank's voice. And now that I know what Frank sounds like, because I listen to his podcast, I can hear it now. I can hear Frank's voice now. Aaron Click says, Dave, do you ever feel a little bummed out that some horror movies such as Black Christmas don't receive the widespread recognition from casual and or non-horror audiences the way Halloween has? No, not really. I mean, Black Christmas is an acquired taste. You know, I think it's always been an acquired taste. The thing that Halloween has going for it, obviously, is the sequels. Black Christmas has never had a sequel until now. It's never had a sequel. It's had 2 remakes. I don't like either of them. I think they just don't like either of them. So there was never really a big franchise for it, never sequels. It never embedded itself into the pop culture consciousness in the way that Michael did, obviously. It's a cult film. I mean, it's a cult film. You know, do I wish it would have, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, because I think part of the reason why it is so revered is because there isn't a lot of sequels. Not that John Carpenter's Halloween was a different breed, because it's a horror classic for a variety of reasons. I mean, it became the highest grossing independent movie of all time. You know, I mean, it cost $320,000 to make, it grossed like $70 million. I mean, it was on a different level. It had that music, you know, that iconic music, and it was just a different level. It was a different level of even though Black Christmas cost more to make, because I think Black Christmas was $600,000, I think. It just, you know, the pathways were very different. But I think the charm of the original Black Christmas has been preserved. So I'm going to say no, but it's an acquired taste. Black Christmas, I mean, you think Halloween's a slow burn. Black Christmas is a slow burn. And it doesn't have, you know, it's dated, you know, and certainly I can see why some people watch it and go, you know. But for me, I love it. I love the piano, you know, and Billy, and there's some genuinely creepy fucking moments in that movie. Like to this day, 46 years later, to this day, there's some genuinely creepy moments in that movie. So I like it because I like the mood and atmosphere and the slow burn, but I'm glad. No, I think in retrospect, I'm glad it didn't go off and have 10 sequels and all that kind of stuff, because you know, maybe we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing now. I don't know. Who knows? Great question, though. Great question. Patrick Ring says, Dave, besides Lynn Griffin, have you ever heard from any of the other original Black Christmas cast members that have any knowledge of It's Me, Billy? I have not. No, I mean, obviously Margot Kidder has passed away. I have not, but that doesn't mean they don't know about it. Oh, well, I do know that Olivia Hussey knows about it. I do know that. I think she knows about it because I think somebody tweeted her or something. I think somebody tweeted her, something like that. I think she's aware of it, if I'm not mistaken. I think she is aware of it. But I haven't heard from, I don't, no. But, you know, you never know who's watching, you know? I mean, you never know. I mean, it's crazy when there's a lot of, you just never know. You just never know. Oh, Devontae. How does it feel, Devontae, to have no life? I just want to know. How does it feel to just be this kind of guy when you could be so much more to the world? But you choose to be that guy. They don't come back again. You ain't going nowhere fast. Jim Dorsey says, sometimes I miss the days when Halloween 1978 was less popular. Yeah, I hear you. Back in like the 80s, early 90s when you couldn't even get it on VHS. It was incredibly difficult to get on VHS until Blockbuster released it, and then you could get it. But besides that, it was incredibly difficult. Evil Alex says, what are you most excited for next week filming? Any plans for a sequel? Let's get the first one done first. I'll say, what am I most excited for? I can't say without giving spoilers. I think just working with everybody. And there's a few scenes and shots I'm excited for. Yeah, I'll say that. I just don't want to give too much away. Don't want to give too much away, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. Who do we have? Dun, 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 dun. Is it Erland Steen? For a cat person, Dave likes to say dog shit. It is fucking cat shit. It's cat shit. Doesn't sound as good as dog shit. Dog shit sounds better. Tom Hungarian says, I told my employer if I don't turn the heat on, I'm not coming. If he don't turn the heat on, I'm not coming to work next week. He said, whatever, Tommy. He's so fucking lame. Well, hopefully your boss isn't watching this. Let's just say that. Alec Shambach? Is it Shambach? Shambach? Am I saying that right? Feel like that's what it is. But anyway, getting a nice snowstorm today in Pennsylvania. How important is the Christmas winter vibe for your film? Wishing you the best of luck, Dave. Excited to see it. Well, obviously, we have no control over the weather. It's going to be what it's going to be. But we decided to set it at the end of November because logistically, when you live here in Canada, we get rough winters. And the logistics of shooting in winter, unless you have a big production with a lot of crew, can be very difficult. So we wanted to split the difference. I mean, shooting in February might be great because there's lots of snow, but that also might make the logistics of it incredibly difficult. It can be done, of course. But we wanted to, I think it's important, what was most important to us, whether it snows or not, which it can at this, time of year up here, of course. Like in Ontario where I am, we get the same climate as you would get in Pennsylvania. It was, I believe there were some flurries here this morning. Same thing in Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Buffalo. Oh, Buffalo, that's New York. It's the same thing. It's not like when you cross the border, it's a completely different land, right? We get the same climate. So as you know, being in Pennsylvania this time of year, you could get some snow, so it's possible. I think what's most important is that things look dead so that there's no leaves on the trees. If we can get some cloudy days, that's good. Because as you know, living in Pennsylvania, it's not unprecedented to have a green Christmas. Now, when I mean green Christmas, I don't mean like July, it's all nice and green. I just mean like there's no snow. So, but the trees look dead. There's no leaves on the trees. It's cloudy, but there's maybe not snow on the ground, or maybe there's just a dusting of snow, but nothing major. You know as well as I do, living in Pennsylvania, that we get that a lot, don't we? Like, I mean, that's not unprecedented. That happens a lot. So I think for the film to work, as long as it doesn't look like July, and in the middle of summer, and it looks dead, I think it will be believable. I think you will buy it. As an audience, I think you will buy it because it's not unprecedented to have no snow, but it's a gloomy kind of look and there's no leaves on the trees. And you could believe, I could believe this is December. Listen, if we had, $30 million, $10 million, we would get a bunch of snow machines and make a bunch of snow. But that costs thousands of dollars to do, especially the area for which we would have to cover. The house sits on 20 acres of property. We ain't covering 20 acres of snow. Now, obviously, you wouldn't do that. You would do it in bits and pieces, but still, it's thousands of dollars that we don't have. So, but I think as long as it has that gloomy, dead vibe, I think you will believe, at the very least, I think you will believe that it's that time of year, and if there's a little bit of a dusting of snow, great. But that's the least of our worries. That's the least. Hans Gruber says, green Christmas, ickiest of the icky, bud. Well, again, it's not green, right? If you're talking like, I don't know where you live, Hans, but if you live in the northeast of the United States or here in Canada, a green Christmas looks like, it's not July. It's not like it's 90 degrees out and the grass is green and the leaves are on the trees. It just looks dead. It looks like November. It looks dead. You know what I mean? And we get that a lot. And unfortunately, it's out of our control. So I think it will work okay. Cobra says, use snow. Okay. Then give us $50,000 and we'll do it. What? Hey, you want snow? It's the way it works, my man. It's the way it works. I'm busting your balls. Jim Dorsey says, what Dave is saying is that there'll be no palm trees in the background if it's me, Billy. That's right. There'll be no palm trees. There'll be no leaves blowing in the wind. You'll be fine. Trust me. You will be fine. Trust me. You've trusted me. You got to trust me. You'll be fine. Evil Alex says, when I think of Canada, I think of the show The Sentinel. Was it even famous in Canada? The show The Sentinel. I don't even know it. The Sentinel. I don't know it. I'm not too sure. That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look it up. I'm not sure. Demand Hammer AR-15 for life says, Sir Dave of Toronto, will Billy be a boss like the homie Rick Boss? Rick Boss? Who's Rick Boss? I'm drawing a blank, my man. I'm drawing a blank. My apologies. I don't know who Rick Boss is. Let me scroll up here. We'll go another 5 minutes. 5 minutes for today. Awesome50 says, hey, Dave, are you nervous about the shoot or just excited beyond your wildest dreams to get this shit started? I would say that I'm more excited to get this shit started because it's been 18 months of this. I announced that Bruce and I were going to be making a Black Christmas fan film on, I think it was the 3rd of July, 2019. And now here we are, November 17th, 2020, 5 days away from going there, 3 days away from loading the trucks, 6 days away from going to camera. I'm ready. I feel like I've been training for a fight, you know? And it's like, let's just do it. Come on, let's fucking do it. Yeah. That's what I feel like right now. It's crazy. It's crazy. MMA Parlay says, I think he was talking about the receipts that the money is actually being spent on, what's needed for the project. Oh, I see. Well, no, that's not information that I can't provide you that information. If that's what they're talking about, I don't no receipt for a perk or whatever. Information for the receipts. No, that's information that I can't provide you that information because of the information that's on the receipt. That's private information. But I can certainly tell you that that is what it's going towards. That's what the $60,000 is going towards. And look, you're always going to have somebody that is going to be in a position that doesn't believe it. Well, if you don't believe it, then don't fucking donate. I don't have time for your shit. I have time for your shit. And I say it bluntly like that because the last thing I want to worry about is somebody accusing me of taking $60,000 to go off and you know, and then don't donate. No one's forcing you to donate. You don't have to donate. I can't provide you with receipts to everything that we have spent on the movie because it would be hundreds of receipts between props, locations, logistics, production insurance, motels, hotels. I mean, it's insane. What I can say to you is that yes, the money that was raised through the Indiegogo campaign is all going towards the production of It's Me, Billy. That's why we raised that money. It's also going towards the perks because a part of that, I should say, has to go towards the perks. But if I'm not saying you are MMA, but there have been people that have accused me of that, and I don't care. I know that this is what it's going towards. And the end result of the movie will show you that too. This is why it's in case you didn't catch on, for those who may be skeptical, it's me posting the behind the scenes of camera tests. I'm not doing this to brag. I'm doing it to show you the transparency and the level for which we're working on. I can't walk into White's and rent that camera for nothing. That is a state-of-the-art, Hollywood-level cinematic camera. So I show you these things to show you, hey, look what we're doing. Look what we're doing with the money that you've given us. Look what we're doing with the production. Look, we couldn't do this without you guys, right? That's why I take the time to do those types of things, is to keep the transparency there. You're always going to have somebody, and I'm not saying that you were or somebody else was, or the other person was. I forget his name now, was saying that. But there have been people that have accused me of that, usually trolling. I don't care. I can't supply you with hundreds of receipts. It's just not practical. It's not possible. But just know that they are going towards those things. They are. Trust me. You've trusted me in donating. You have to trust me now. And you're going to get your perks. You're going to get your perks. But you're going to get them, obviously, when we have the chance to create them, order them, have them shipped to me, ship them to you, all that kind of stuff. That's happening after the movie moves into post-production. But you're always going to get somebody like that. And again, I'm not saying MMA was saying that. I just think it's important for people to understand how movie making works and the costs of things that go to things. Yes, I can make a movie, a feature-length film for nothing on my phone, because some people have said that too. What do you need $60,000 for? $60,000? Dude, it costs $5,000 to feed people for a week. You know how much it costs to rent the house? $10,000. I just shut everybody up, didn't I? You got to be thinking about this kind of stuff. This is a professional movie, folks. This is not, me and my friends hanging out, on our downtime after school. We're doing this legitimately. So yes, it costs this much money. And I need people to understand that. The vast majority of people here get it and understand it. But if you're somebody who's skeptical and rolling your eyes, you need to do your due diligence on what these kinds of things cost. This is what it costs. Okay? This is what it costs. And I want to be transparent with you with that. And I think I have been. I've been doing a lot of updates and I've been talking about it and keeping you guys informed and updated. And I think I have been. So it's just, it's important for people to understand that it usually comes from the ignorant who just don't understand how movies are made. And at the end of the day, that's not my problem. That's your problem, but I have taken the time here to express my thoughts, explain to you some of the details and some of the costs involved. And that's what it is. When you're making a real movie, that's what it costs. And it is what it is. And I know I'm not the only one that's been, accused of that. Cecil has been accused of that. Vince has been accused of that. It's just par for the course. It's par for the course. But it usually comes from ignorant people who, and I'm not saying they're necessarily bad people. I'm just saying ignorant people who just don't understand how much it costs to make a movie at that level, because they think, well, I can just go out and make a movie. Well, yeah, but you're not going to make a very good one. And you're not going to make one that looks like a Hollywood movie that can be on Netflix, because that's what we're doing. So it's important to keep that in mind that, okay, yeah, it's a fan film, but these guys are making a movie. That's why I say that. I need people to understand this is why I show you the behind the scenes. It's why I show you, the camera and the lenses and, the process. I'm trying to be transparent that way with you so you guys see, oh, that's what they're doing. You know what I mean? You don't see us hooking up our phone to a tripod. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Where the hell is that money going? If you saw me posting a camera test of me hooking up my phone to a tripod, yeah, I'd be sitting there going, where the fuck is the money going? The fuck are you doing, Dave? I'd be thinking the same thing. But that's why I show you these things, is so you get an idea of the level we're working at. And I think that's important. I think that's fair to you guys. I just want to say that. Frank Riker says, are you handling the equipment like a firstborn child and letting a select few handle it because of their cost? I would hate to just play with it. Dude, I'm not, well, that's why we have Greg, our DP, Nikita, our gaffer, and our key grip, Naz, who are handling a lot of the equipment. So I didn't, when Greg was loading up the Airy onto the tripod, I wasn't doing that. I was like, I'm not doing that. Last thing I want to do is fucking drop it. Like, oh, great. You know what I mean? And that's what Greg does. I mean, he's been doing this for 20 years. So he just went in there, opened up the case, took out the, actually, I think the camera was still on the tripod, actually. Oh, sorry. When we first walked into the room, I think our CSRs who are designated to our production, I think they had already put the camera on the tripod. But after we were done, after we were closing everything down, he was taking it off. And I was like, yeah, I'm not touching that. No way. And the lenses and shit, like each lens comes in their own case, right? These are master primes, okay? So each, like, there's like 20 cases, and you open it up and they're all in their own cases, right? It's insane. It's like, what the fuck? There was this wide angle lens, a 12 mil wide angle lens that was like fucking this big. It was ridiculous. And like the lens on it was like this, right? And I remember I was trying to take it out because I wanted to have a look at it, and I was having some trouble taking it out of the case. And I'm sure it was just something I just wasn't doing. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to let Greg take it out. I'm not going to, because the last thing I want is to go, why is it? Oh shit! You know, and it like flies out and hits the wall and smashes on the ground. Because that lens is probably worth $100,000 or something ridiculous like that. So I was like, no, I'm not fucking touching that. So, I mean, that's why you have a crew, right? Who deals with these kinds of things all the time. So I just was like, I'm just going to let them handle it, let them put it on, you know, and Greg took it out of the case and he's putting it on the camera, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I'd be nervous. I mean, because I'd be like, okay, please go on, you know. But Greg's just like, you know, because it's what he does, and that's why we have him. So yeah, we'll just let Greg do it. Darren, I was like, what does the TSL stand for? It stands for the slaughtered lamb. Darren says, get the folks a coffee on set, Dave. I definitely will. All the best and good luck with the shoot. We're all behind you. Thank you so much, Darren. I really appreciate that. It means a lot coming from you. And obviously, you know, you're one of my longest supporters here. So it means a lot, Darren. You are amazing. And thank you for saying that, for sure. And I will definitely be thinking of you guys while I'm there, and I will definitely be posting, it's 12:37, I got to skedaddle. I definitely will be posting some behind the scenes footage. Again, folks, in case you're just tuning in, this may be the last McRae Live for a couple of weeks. I might be able to slip one in Thursday, but I definitely know there isn't one Friday. And then of course I'm out of here after that. So, but just know that I will, if you follow me on social media, whether it's my Facebook page, which is linked in the description, whether it's my Twitter, which is in the description, whether it's Instagram, which is in the description. If you're not currently following me on social media and you have those social media accounts, please follow me there, because I will be posting, and I will post, I might post to the community section here too, but I definitely will be posting when I can throughout next week some behind the scenes of It's Me, Billy, dangling the carrot and let you guys know that we are actually doing it. And please know that the vast majority of people, like 99% of the people, have been wonderfully supportive, completely understand the filmmaking process and understand the costs involved, especially when you want to do something really special like we're doing. Because we're not just doing it for us, we're doing it for you guys. You know, we want to do something for everybody. We just happen to be the ones that are able to make it, but we're doing it for you guys too. And I just want you to know again how much I appreciate your support, your belief, not just in the project, but in me and Bruce. Because it wouldn't matter how cool the project was. If you didn't believe in us to do it, you wouldn't have donated. And the fact that you did speaks volumes. And I don't care if you donated $100, $500, or $1. I don't care. It means the world to us. It really does. It's humbling and it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. So again, thank you. And I can certainly say on behalf of the cast and crew, thank you for doing this. You're making it a reality. You guys are amazing. You know, I love each and every one of you. You guys are awesome. And like I said, I will definitely upload some behind the scenes next week. And if this is the last time I speak to you guys between now and then, have a great rest of your week. Have a great, is there something coming up? Thanksgiving. Yes, next Thursday is the American Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to my American brothers and sisters south of the border. Stay safe. Stay safe. Don't do anything crazy. I know it's Thanksgiving and shit, but try not to do anything crazy. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and be safe on Black Friday. You know, you don't want to get trampled on out there if you're picking up a PS5 or something. I don't know. You don't want to get trampled on. But have a great next week as well, and look out for those behind the scenes stuff. Alrighty. Oh, Tabitha Short. Hey, Tabitha, my other great moderator. Tabitha sends in a $14.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Tabitha. I really appreciate it. That means a lot, very much. And did I miss any other super chats? I don't think I did. Robert Kitzmiller gets one in hard into the paint. He says, Dave, you and the crew kick some tail and most importantly, have fun. Hey, it's me, Billy. Yes, we're definitely going to have fun for sure. Thank you, Robert. Really appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your time and your love for this channel, man. And I will be back soon. You know what? Let's go make a fucking movie. All right. Cheers.